Hi, welcome to my channel. So today's video is gonna be interesting. Okay, it's a story time. I got a story to tell you guys. Okay, so today's story that I want to talk about is my experience living in a haunted place. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. All right. So um a couple of years ago, when I was still in varsity, my first year of varsity, I moved to a residence, a university residence that was outside of the university, and it was haunted. Okay, so I want to tell you just my experience living in a residence like that, and yeah, just the ooh of it all. Okay, so let's get into it. So yes, as I said, my first year of varsity was a long time ago because I'm pretty old, but I'm not going to tell you. um, so I moved to a residence, and mind you, I had never moved away from home, so I was very nervous already, fresh out of high school, leaving home, and now about to live on my own. So there's just that fear of it all. So I moved to this new place, and I met my roommate, who's a lovely soul. I was actually so grateful that I actually had a roommate like that. And I was so scared about that, because you're kind of scared, like, oh my gosh, what if I don't like my roommate? What if they mean? What if this and that? And I was very fortunate to have a very lovely roommate, and I had it was like kind of a flat kind of a place, so I also had housemates, and they were all so lovely. So I was very grateful that I had great people that I lived with. But the oogie, the spookiness that was happening around us though was no joke, honey. So in the couple of weeks, I was getting to know a couple of people, and there was this one guy specifically that was just speaking to me. I thought he was joking, and he's like, so has anyone told you about the ghost here? And I'm like, no, you're trying to scare me because I'm new and you're gonna tell me that there's ghosts. And he's like, no, for real, like, there are ghosts, and he started telling me that his one friend, he said that specifically these ghosts only start showing up like around winter time, specifically during exam times. Anytime it's exam times, you're gonna know. And I'm like, so how do I know that there's gonna be ghosts? Like, okay, the number one thing is that you're gonna hear them. They make like a sound. They make like this like a sound like they're moving furniture around, and it sounds like it's upstairs or downstairs, and it's actually nowhere, because you're all gonna hear it, but you're not gonna know where the sound is coming from. And I'm like, you're just trying to scare me, whatever. And then he told me about, and then when I saw his face, like, when someone's trying to spook you, when someone's really speaking from their heart, and especially with guys don't really like showing their emotions, and then he told me a story about his friend, like, was like trying to fall off, like was being pushed out of a window by one of these entities, and they had to pull him out, they had to pull him back in, and I'm like, what? And like some people had other experiences where they knock, where someone's knocking on the door, and when you open, it's nothing, like just a brush of wind just comes into the door, and then it's about to go down. You ain't sleeping tonight, honey. So I was like so freaked out. And if you watched my previous video, I spoke about that I'm naturally very spiritual, and I've seen ghosts. I've actually seen ghosts before, not in that specific residence, but I've seen a ghost. I didn't know it was a ghost until I found out somehow. But yeah, so I was like, oh shit, like, and I know the type of person that I am, that I can just attune to that. So I was like, oh no. What? Then I went and I asked my roommate, I'm like, girl, I've been here with you all these months, and you ain't telling me the juice of the fact that this place is haunted. It's like, no, I don't want to scare you. I was just figured that if it happens to you, then I'll tell you, but you were quiet so far, so I didn't tell you. And so I ended up having my first encounter. So if anyone's had any encounter spiritually, you'll know that they normally try to get you at your most vulnerable state. So it depends where you are mentally. Okay, one, if you don't believe in something, it doesn't affect you. All right, I've known that. So belief is everything. So I mean, I do believe in that there are good and bad spirits. So it just depends on your mental capacity. At the time I was very fearful, so fear attracts fear. Okay, it attracts fearful moments. I think if it happened this time around, I'd be like, fuck out of here, okay? But at the time I was very fearful. So what happens if they attack you or try to get at you at your very vulnerable moments? So your very vulnerable moments is usually just as you're about to fall asleep, okay, in that hypnagogic state. That's the most time that you can get spiritual messages, where you can also be very tuned in, because you're about to tap into the dream world, which is also another form of a spiritual world, but that's for another video, honey. I'm gonna talk about dreams in another video, but right now I just want to talk about this one, okay? So I was like about to doze off, and I felt an energy. I just felt it, like I felt it from my spine. At the time I didn't know anything about Kundalini and shit, but now I know a lot more. But I felt an energy in my spine, and then I got into like I don't know what to call it, but a very still state. So I could see everything. I was sleeping to someone. Anyone that saw me thought I was sleeping, but I was alert. I could see everything. So I couldn't really see the entity, but I could feel it. I felt like footsteps coming closer towards me, and then on me. And then that's when I couldn't move. That's when you can't, when you're in that state where you can feel something's like kind of holding you down, and you can't get up, and you're crying, you're screaming, you're praying. At the time I would pray and I'd be like, Jesus please help me, come on. And it always worked, guys. It always worked. So if you're anyone that goes through or has nightmares, really call on whoever you are tuned to spiritually, whoever you believe in. They will help you out. So that's advice. Anyone who went through something similar, call on whoever you believe in. Call on whoever you believe in. They will help you out of that situation. So I ended up waking up, and my roommate also woke me up. She's like, hey bro, what's happening? I'm like, I don't know, I just felt something come towards me. And she's like, oh no, that they must be here now. And as soon as I said that, the next day we started hearing it sounded like people are moving furniture like roughly, and it's just during exam time, so we're trying to study, we're trying to focus, and they'd be like moving furniture, moving furniture all over. And I'm like, you want to go ask your neighbor, but then they know as well that it's not them. Like, our other neighbors from my other room came to ask us, like, hey, do you guys hear them? Like, yeah. Then we ended up telling them the story, and ended up being a thing that everyone knew. So what used to happen is that at that time people started doing they were like prayers. You would go to the hall or TV room, I think it was, and start doing prayers. And I remember, even if I wasn't at the prayer, because people would sing and they were powerful and they were casting these demons away and praying, and you can actually hear them getting agitated, like really it'd get louder and louder until it would eventually stop. So yeah, I lived there for about a year. I think that was mostly what I encountered, was just sometimes I would feel like I was being attacked in my dream state. And yeah, there were other incidences, as I mentioned before, but apparently the university knew about this, but I guess they didn't care, because everyone knew. People around, neighbors and around the place used to say that, yeah, they also know, because there was also like a very ambiance thing. They had its own ambiance. Like, everyone that lived at that place, like, whether you like it or not, they were like literally the nicest people. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but obviously I'm nice, right? You can sense it. So yeah, they were very nice people. Like, they were the nicest guys, the nicest girls, the nicest people. Like, everyone got along. Just the energy there just made everyone get along. And apparently the people that lived there, that died there or something, were also like that. They had that energy. So whoever moved there just kind of took over that energy. So yeah, so if you believe in ghosts, you're probably believe in ghosts if you're watching this video. But what I learned from it, more than anything, I realized that obviously I needed to tap into myself more and not give any entity my power. And I don't really have those nightmares or experience things like that anymore, because I think I'm more attuned to myself, and I realized that the true power lies within me. But at that time, I was freaked the fuck out. That was a very scary experience, and I was quite young. So yeah, like that's my experience living in a haunted place. It was like really creepy, but I survived it, and yeah, man, like I survived it. I didn't really see any entities, but I could feel them. But I know now, because I'm an empath, that I can just always feel things. But that place was straight up haunted. So it wasn't just me, like it was, they were haunting everyone. So yeah, that is my story about living in a haunted place. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you a little bit of chills. If you experience something similar, please like, share, comment. You know, have you met a ghost before? Have you had an experience like that? How did you feel from it? Does it still traumatize you to this day? Just let me know from your side. And thank you for watching my video. And if you enjoy my videos, do subscribe, and peace and love to you.